Ryan Van Dyne here. So officially, September is probably September was definitely a bust for a month for me. You know, I gotta be 100% honest. You know, first thing that happened in September, the strong arm eye cylinder broke, right? Second thing to happen, freaking wiring on the International melted. Third thing this month, the Peterbilt frame cracked again. You know, it's just been one of those months where you just, as soon as you catch up, boom, it hits you again. As soon as you start to think you're getting somewhere, boom, you just get hit with a landslide. Oh, that's all good, Blake. It's all good, man. I figured that you were, either busy or, really going through it. Yeah, I already know, Richard. I already called a place to get a new frame rail. But, with the way, COVID affected everything, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon, honestly. Everything is in short supply right now. Workers, materials, basically everything, We got the International to a shop, Dirk's Truck Repair. They're going to take a look at it and see if they can't figure out what the wiring is. But, they said have an open checkbook is what they said. They're charging time and materials, So honestly, I don't think I can expect anything less than, a few thousand on that. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few people that do it around here, but Blake, they're going to charge, $4 or $5 grand for it, which I can afford it. I just can't afford the truck to be down for 3 weeks, while they do it. Yeah, dude, they don't have any boneyards around here, Richard. They did have a few truck salvage yards in Washington, but they went out of business. They had a big one down in Chehalis or Centralia or something, Tenino area. And they went out of business probably 6 years ago. And Truckweld bought that place. But as far as I know, there aren't any in Washington anymore. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely not a bad idea. It's a good idea. The problem is there just ain't any. Yeah, I'm about to show you. It's cracked in the same spot. So, as you can see, I've been working on it. That's the sign of the Peterbilt. Working on the Peterbilt. If I look this greasy, it's because I'm working on the Peterbilt. This is the truck that leaks the most. I didn't have to tow it. The frame's not completely cracked in half. The tow bill on the International ended up being by the hour, $175 an hour. And I still haven't gotten the bill from them yet. But I'm guessing, max 3-4 hours, so probably under $1 grand. But all right, so we got this side of the frame under jack stands. What are you doing chilling in my way? Silly dog. He's trying to inspect the frame here. So that's where it cracked. As you can see, just broke right through that thing. Yeah, it's just coating the frame for winter. So, that's what happens. Basically, what happened was I was on site, and I got loaded a little too heavy. That's what happens when you're on site. Stuff gets loaded way too heavy, and the frame twists a lot more. And that's what happened. I got loaded with probably 16, 17 tons of dirt. And then I had to back up this angle like this. It was a turn and it was sloped like that. And, you know, I hit it too close to the side and it twisted a lot more, you know, and as it was twisting, I hear this pop. And I was like, oh, yep, I know what that was. I know what that was. So I dumped the load out, you know, it dumped, no problem. And then I got out and then I was able to, you know, check it out. The top half, it's cracked up here, but it's not cracked all the way across. Yeah, on-site work, man, I tell you, it seems like that's always the worst. On-site work is the worst, you know, for dump trucks, you know. But it's a combination of a few things, you know. When I got it fixed the first time, I told the guy, I said, hey, I want the insert to be the same size as the other side, you know, and it's not. It's way thinner, you know. Let me just go under here and show you, you know, which, you know, I told him I wanted it the same size, and he just blew it off and was like, oh, this will work, this will work, this will work. I've never had one of these come back, you know. She's like, well, you ain't hauling what Brian Van Dyn hauls, you know. And so, let me just get under here and show you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's try not to touch anything, or else we get more greased up. Okay, so that's the side that Freightliner did. You can see how thick that insert is. It's more than a 1/4 inch, you know? It's probably more than a 1/4 inch, you know? And it's great. No problems yet, knock on wood. It's kind of short, though, you know? It's not as long as I had hoped that they would do it. It's from right here, basically, to, you know, probably right about there-ish, right? So now we're going to look at this side. Give me a second. Rolling around on Corey's balls here. Okay. You can see the insert. Very thin. Very thin, you know? Ow. It's thinner than the frame that's already there, you know what I mean? And so, you know, it cracked. It's not cracked all the way across the top yet. So I was able to get her home, you know, just taking her easy. And you can see where she ends, basically right about there, where my finger is. That's where she ends. So you can see where it ends. You know, and then that broke, or it started to crack. You know, I noticed it. And so then that's when I jacked the frame up and I put this thick piece of angle iron under here. You know, it's pretty thick. It's thicker. It's probably the same thickness as the frame, you know, and welded it, stick welded that. Yeah, trust me, it was not fun. It was not fun. And I'm not good at overhead welding, right? I used, that's 6011. You know, looks kind of like bird crap on the end right there. I didn't get it cleaned enough, you know. But my weld held on that angle iron. The angle iron just broke, you know. So it is what it is, you know. So now I'm trying to get that bracket out right there. And what I'm going to try and do, which this may not be possible. So here's my two options that I kind of see happening is I grind it out and I re-weld it, which would be the crappiest option, right? And I get by for another week or two until I can get the frame rail replaced. Or, you know, I just tack it up and, basically get it to the frame place ASAP. But, I just don't see that happening because they're probably like 2 or 3 weeks out. You know what I mean? They're 2 or 3 weeks out. Phew. So, kind of what I'm hoping is, I'm hoping they call me back soon, and I can go in there and sometimes they have templates for these things. They have templates already made. Or they can get the specs from the dealer or something and have all the holes drilled, and I just go and pick up the frame. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I heard, Blake. But I kind of feel like if I connect the fuel tank and I run the fuel lines into the cab and have like a fuel in the cab, and I take the drop axle off, I just tack weld that frame together, then I could run down to the place, and it'd be cheaper because I got a lot of the main stuff out of the way. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I really don't know, guys. I mean, realistically, that frame is too small to begin with, I never put a caliper on it, but I can tell you right now, my wife got me this. I think she got it off of Amazon. It's a new caliper. $14K? Damn! Yeah, at that price, I'm gonna be welding it again. At that price, I'll be welding it a few times. Yeah, $14K. Not for that truck. It'll be retired. Not all at once. It is not worth that kind of money all at once. Alright. This thing is really cool. It's got this little roller right here. So you can do it very slowly in increments. Pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to measure the thickness. .2. 0.28. 930 seconds. 7.2 millimeters. Basically 7.2 millimeters thick is how thick the frame is. So that's what she said. I'm working on the Peterbilt. Can't you tell? I'm all greased up. So the frame is basically 0.29. So it's a little more than 1/4 of an inch, basically. A little more. In fractions, it's 930 seconds. Right? basically a little over 1/4 of an inch, like 2 millimeters more than, you know, 1/4 of an inch. So, for those of you that are just now showing up, yeah, they do. Yes, they do. So, it's cracked. Broke right through that piece of angle iron I welded on there. Basically snapped all at once. Life of a legend has its ups and downs. Good luck, man. Yeah, thank you. It, you know, this truck has been, you know, it's been fun. Just bevel it out and buzz it close. That's what I'm thinking of doing, Blake. In all honesty, you know, that's probably what I'll end up doing with my new welder. We'll see how good this thing handles welding. So, I mean, that's what I'm working with today. You know, check this out though. This is kind of cool. I got 2 chains, or a chain on each of those hooks. And I got this little electric little winch right here. Me and my grandpa got this at a yard sale a long time ago. So I can lift my welder up, pull it right up in here. Welding it 5 times is still cheaper than one trip to the frame shop. Amen to that, Blake. Amen to that, dude. You got that right. You got that right. It is. It's definitely cheaper. And you know, I'm satisfied with the job I did earlier because it lasted all summer. I mean, and I put this thing through some... I'm surprised it didn't crack earlier. Let's just put it that way. Knowing that it was already weak, I was like, yeah, let's push the limits on this. See how good my weld is, you know? But, you know.
Dirty man?
I'm not a dirty man. I have a clean soul.
With a dirty body.
Yeah, dirty body. You like me dirty, though.
Very dirty.
Yep, so that's what we're working with, guys. What are you in my shop with your bike for? Get out of the shop, please. He's got a pop can on his bike. Hey, man, see, and that's the other thing, Blake. You know, I don't want to put too much money into this thing if I'm just about to retire it, you know? Okay, you two, get out of here. So, that's the other thing, you know? It just kind of happened at a sucky time. Yep, this is the truck where it all started, you know? And it started with the cracked frame. Welded good, you'll be fine. Yeah. I got a... See, I don't consider myself very good at vertical welding, overhead welding with stick welding. So my neighbor, I'm going to have him take a look at it tomorrow and see what he thinks. He looks like he's got a way better shop than me. So he looks like, you know, a super fabricator or something. You know, maybe he has better skill at welding than I do. You know, I think he's a pipe fitter or something. I hope so. If he is, he can weld it better than me. Yep. Thank you, Beeson. Thank you. Tell you what, man, this truck, she just never quits. Like, after all the things I've done to this thing, I thought for sure the motor would have went by now, which for some reason it just keeps, you know, cranking away. 3,000 RPMs. You know? So what I wanted to do is get that insert out and see if I can have somebody make an insert that's thicker and just drill all the holes in the same spots. That's what I want to do. But that insert is slightly welded to where the crack was. Because when I welded it, I kind of just grinded it out. And just, you know, got that sucker as hot as I could, you know. And so some of that penetration got onto that insert. So it's not just going to pop right out. That's the sucky thing. My hat's off to you. I honestly thought she'd be done by now. Tough truck. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this truck... And the crazy part is the frame on this truck has been cracked in 3 locations. Is that crazy or what? It's been cracked in 3 locations. Right? It's cracked right there. It cracked on the other side in the same location, just the other frame rail. Had Freightliner fix that one. And then it's also been cracked somewhere right around here. There's another frame rail. There's another insert. I can feel it. Sorry, I hit the power button. I hit the... Let's see if I can show you this way. Let's see. Can you see the 2 frame rails? I don't think you can see it. There you go. Now you can see them both. There's 2 there. But the other side only has 1. So she's been used and abused, you know. But we ain't gonna let her die yet. I'll probably do what Blake said. Just notch it out. Re-weld it. Yeah, send me some over, Blake. I want to see him just to compare. Just to compare, man. I mean, I thought I did decent. I did okay on the outside. I did all right welding this, you know. And all right on the bottom on this section, but when I got over to here, I didn't clean it good enough. Yes, she has. About 8 inches thick. One of the sucky parts about where it cracked is the bracket that holds the fuel tank is right here. Right? So you can't have this too built up or else the fuel bracket don't line up right. That's the sucky thing about it. You know? Another thing, when I got this truck, whoever built this thing, look at that. You see that gap right there? That should never have a gap right in here. That should be sitting flush. Mine always cracked back where the bed pin mounts to the frame. Oh, yeah. That's because you guys have longer trucks, though, too. And they twist more. This thing's got so many cross members. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 6 cross members, you know. And you can see it was double framed, but the double frame ends right here. Like, what kind of idiot does that? You know, you can see where the insert ends. So, a little disappointed about that, you know. But that was done way before I got the truck. You will say you've had 23 ton on the old truck more times than I care to mention. Yeah, I can relate, dude. Like, dump trucks, whether you want to or not, every now and then it's gonna be overweight. That's just that's the nature of the beast. You know, don't do it intentionally, but it happens, you know. Especially when you're on site. Because you're trying to get stuff done. It's just like, well, one more scoop, he's going to the bathroom. One more scoop, you know. We could just squeeze a little more in the back. Beeson, I have 3 trucks, but only one of them's working right now. Only one of them's working. 2 of them are broke down. This one's broke with the frame, and the International had some wiring meltdown. It's out of shop right now. So, it is what it is. Yeah, I got 2 super dumps. I got the new one and the old one. Or it's not old, it's 2009. It's still pretty new. Yeah. Yeah, they will. And see, that's one of the things that I learned after my first or second year of dump trucking. I found that the smaller your box, the better. The smaller, the shorter. Because here's what happens. You get these guys, you know, this bed is like, I think, a 13 or a 14-foot bed. There are guys with 16-foot beds that are triaxles. 16-foot beds, right? So when they're loaded to legal weight, it don't look like there's anything in there. And the operators are always like, that truck ain't loaded. That truck, you can still fit a few more buckets in that thing. That ain't loaded. And they hate the drivers because they're always like, nope, that's it. It's loaded. That's weight, you know. And they're like, that thing ain't loaded. That's why a lot of them loved me, because I was just like, yeah, fill her up, man. Fill it up, you know. Because most of the time, this truck, even when it's loaded full, is right when it's right on weight. Yeah, low sideboards. See, that's another one. You know, you get the shorter sideboards so they don't fill it up as much, you know. And it's a lot less abuse. And you know, people like me, when I first started, I was like, that doesn't make any difference. You know, what's 2 or 3 scoops? Trust me, 2 or 3 scoops is a lot of weight. It adds up. And especially when you're off site and you're going over everything, you're just like, you know, it adds up, you know. So when you're looking at buying a dump truck, keep that in mind. You know, if you don't want to hassle the operator about, hey, I'm loaded, you know, quit overloading me, then get a shorter box, or a shorter box this way. Less length or less height, whichever one, you know, works for you. But, you know, if it's a long box and short sideboards, they will say something, because I've seen it before. They're like, man, we can't load you all the way because your sideboards are too short. And it's like, yeah, but the thing is mine's longer than the other trucks. That's why my sideboards are shorter, you know. But they don't understand that. They don't care. They just think that, I put 4 scoops in him and 3 scoops in you. You know? Virginia Gap trucks have it right. Yeah, I don't know. I know my buddy Leo's truck. I wouldn't mind owning my buddy Leo's truck, you know, but he probably wants a little more than what I want to pay for it, because his truck is it's like a foot or two shorter than this one, and the sideboards are a little, you know, but his truck's older than mine, you know, so that's the downside to that. But dude, that truck would be perfect because they're never gonna overload. It's never gonna get overloaded, you know. So I don't know. Maybe what I need to do is just weld this thing up and buy another Solo, you know, a 20 grand Solo, and then just keep this one as my spare, you know. Since the frame's, you know, giving me issues. But I don't know. I've thought about selling this one, selling the International once I get it fixed, selling it. I was thinking about selling it, you know, 100 grand. Taking that and buying, you know, either 2 new trucks or another new truck. You know, just so I don't have to worry about, you know, the stupidest things that, you know, I don't mind doing maintenance, but I'd rather just do oil changes, you know. I don't want to be doing this stuff anymore like this. This is just too much for me, man. I'm getting too old for this stuff. At least I feel like I am. You guys are probably like, Brian, just quit complaining. Just get it done, you know. But, man, if I do this for another 5-10 years, I won't be able to do nothing. You know, at least that's kind of how I kind of feel, you know. So, I don't know. Would you ever finance a brand new one? Yeah, I already have one financed. So, the 2020 Peterbilt, that's on financing. You know. I financed that one. I put down $60,000. Right now, our principal of what we owe on that is only $150 right now. We only owe $150 on the principal. You got a cape on?
Yeah.
Are you a superhero?
Yeah.
Which one? Batman, huh?
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on a 2006 K-Dub T800 with the C15? I mean, it sounds like a good truck. I'd have to see it, though. You know? I always say, you know, if it's used or if it's old, I have to see it. I have to look it over, you know? Because with old trucks, everybody's going to tell you, oh, that thing's ready to roll. That thing's ready to roll. It's ready to work tomorrow. Yeah, they give you a little less headaches, you know. You're still working on them, but not nearly as much. You know what I mean? And when it is, it's something stupid, you know. It's just like, oh, it's a tail light, or, you know. Like, I've been thinking, you know, if I did sell the International, if I got another new Peterbilt Super Dump, you know, I'd probably just drive it. I probably wouldn't hire somebody to drive it. It'd be automatic. I'd just be driving that myself. Just be me and Brandon. Nobody else, you know? I don't know. But the thing is, Blake, I don't want to drive anymore. I don't want to drive anymore, man. I'm lazy. I don't want to drive anymore. You know? I'm almost there. I feel like 2 more trucks. One or two more trucks, and I could be not driving anymore. I mean, I can do it right now. Problem is I wouldn't have a house. I'd be living in that camper for the rest of my life. Yeah, we ain't getting back in them, dude. We're getting too old for that, Blake. We are getting too old for that, and our businesses have grown to a point where it's time for us to evolve into a different job title. You know what I mean? Manager versus everything else. You know what I mean? We basically need to be able to delegate everything. But alright, guys. Well, I'm going to go take a shower and probably eat some dinner. Probably go out to dinner because I worked so hard. I think I earned it. I don't know about you guys. But I got this thing all the way, I did break my welder out though, so I may just be that out and weld it tonight. But I want to give the other guy a chance to look at it because he may be a better welder than me. He may have a better idea, than just V'ing it out and welding it. So I got a lot more stuff off this time than last time. Last time I didn't take that bracket off right there. I did take the fuel tank off, but I didn't take, I don't know if you can see it down there, that bracket right there. I took two of those off. They go in here. And basically, they were kind of a real pain because they're right in the way of when you're welding, so I don't know. Yeah, it'll be the inner sleeve. Yeah, it'll be all the way to the inner sleeve, so it definitely would be tied in there pretty good. But the problem is I suck at overhead welding. I don't want to do overhead welding. So I'd have to figure out how to weld the inside of that, But I'm very happy. When the last time I welded that, I didn't have that welder. I had that welder. And that thing is very temperamental. That welder is very temperamental, man. I hate to say it, When I bought it, I was like, I just need a welder, now. And I should have spent some more money on one, but I didn't, And I mean, I made my money's worth out of that thing, but let me tell you what. It didn't last as long as I had hoped. I think I got it fixed now, though, where it welds decent. I think part of the problem if you look down here, these connectors right here and right here were very loose. Like the wires were just jiggling around. They weren't even, on it very good. Ooh, dinner already served. What is that? Looks like, a BLT. Look at that, guys. Yeah, go ahead and start on it, because I'm going to need another one. One BLT ain't going to be enough. this grease stuff, it kills the bacteria. BLTG. Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm one of the luckiest men on the planet. I've been working on this dump truck this whole time. My wife brings my dinner right out to me. How many people, how many of you guys have a wife like that? You don't even have to go inside to eat dinner. She brings it out to you. How many guys are that lucky? I'm lucky. I know it. Frame cracked again, Sid. That 40 weight oil hits the spot. Yes, it does. Oh, man, that's good. It's been a while since I had a BLT. I'll be honest. Thank you, babe. You call your wife DoorDash? Thank you, babe. Send one your way.
But then you're so cute.
She says it's because I'm cute. Oh man, I needed that. I had 2 chocolate chip pancakes. For lunch, I had like a little Tupperware. You know, the smaller Tupperwares, they're about this big. The small square ones. That was about half full with some Sloppy Joe stuff, you know, to make Sloppy Joes. Heated that up. That was my lunch today. Because my wife had a girls' day with her girlfriends, you know. And while she was doing her girls' day, I was working on the dump truck. Anyways, you guys probably don't want to watch me eat. I'll show you one thing I did for the new welder. I don't know how it's going to work. I got it at Tractor Supply. Maybe that's what it is, Sid. She's just like, if I bring the food out to him, he ain't going to come in here with it. I did this. I don't know how this thing is going to work yet. But basically what I did was I clamped the wire in here. And then I used 2 hose clamps. to tie it onto this flat bar so it doesn't wiggle around and come loose. But this is a magnetic ground clamp. I've never used one of these before, but I bought it and it looked cool. And I was like, yeah, because, you know, the ground clamps like that, you can only open them so far, you know. So I figure something like this, I can just go just like that. And then I'm ready to weld, in theory. If it don't work out, I can push it back. You know what I mean? I still got the... But see how far you can open that? That's it. That's all the further you can open that. Sometimes you need to be able to clamp this on something bigger than that. You know? That's all the further that thing is opening. So... they work good, just don't grab it after welding a long run. The magnet ones, yeah, probably because it doesn't have as much heat sink. That makes sense. It doesn't have the heat sink that the other one does, because all it is just this little thing right here. Uh-oh. Something. You can see the crack. So, we'll see. Maybe my next door neighbor is a better welder than me. You know, and he's like, yeah, let me weld that. I know what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, yeah. Show me how it's done, boss. I'm definitely not afraid to admit when somebody's better than me. You know? I'd rather have somebody who has more skill at welding weld it than me. You know? I mean, I'm okay, but they're definitely better out there than me. You want some BLT? How about one of these? Come here. Come on, up. Come closer so they can see you jump. Up. Come on. Come on. Good boy. Alright guys, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put my welder and my tools away. It's getting really windy and I don't want my stuff to get rained on. I don't know if it's going to rain, but I just don't want my stuff getting rained on if it does. So, I got to put that stuff away. So, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to pound that like button, pound that subscribe button as always. You know, how many people show you this kind of stuff? Like, this is real dump truck life. Right here, ownership. This is dump truck ownership. Ain't nobody going to show you when their frame's broken like that. I've never seen anybody show anything like that. You know? So, you know, dump truck ownership, it's not always sunflowers and rainbows, you know. But when they're working, they make money. They print hundreds, man. I'll tell you that. When they're working, they print some hundreds. So, we're going to get her back running. Probably before Monday. I'd like to use the truck on Monday. So, if I just got to weld it up and do it, then that's what I got to do, you know, because I have to move. It's just some logs and stuff. It's nothing heavy or anything like that. So, you know, if I got to weld it up, I got to weld it up. It's got to be done. So, anyways, catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.